Physios, I welcome you all to our channel Physio Vidyapit. We are back with another lecture on relaxation therapy, in which we will be studying about the seventh technique, which is Alexander's technique of relaxation. Okay, so my name is Vijay Kumar and let's get started. Okay, Alexander technique, it is not much difficult, it is simple technique. And what Alexander said, it emphasis on the posture. Okay, so the main thing on which the whole technique is based is our posture. So now what we will understand that what is our posture. Posture is a recognizable characteristic of a person. Okay, so we are watching a person. Okay now, so that is why we can say that it is a recognizable character of a person which refer to the specific way the person habitually hold himself against the gravity. Now I am standing in my room, I am holding my body against gravity and you are watching me. That is, it is a recognizable characteristic. Okay, so you will see that how I am holding my body habitually against the force of gravity, it is called the posture. Okay, simply it is the orientation of body under the force of gravity. Okay, then Alexander focused on the posture of a person and their misuse by individual. Okay, normal individuals have a good posture. Okay, but if somebody do misuse of some muscular activity or abuse of some muscular activity, that is muscle abuse or misuse, due to this the tension in the muscles changes and the body posture get distorted. Distorted means the body posture is not normal, it is changed. Okay, it is slightly changed from the normal condition. Okay, then later on his followers pointed out the posture of a young children as poise. Okay, they said that the posture of a young children is called poise, and this poise is changing with the growth, maturity, development and habits during the life. Okay, so simple. Then the habitual patterns which put on more stress. See, if there is an individual who have a habitual pattern, okay, I have a habit to keep my neck like this, or I have a habit to stand like this. Okay, so these habitual patterns put some additional stress, that is more stress on a certain muscle group, that is by its misuse or abuse, which leads to faulty posture. Okay, and when you are using mobile phone, you are always like this, due to which you have forward head posture. Okay, so this is the thing, that our habitual pattern put some additional stress on our muscles, which lead to the faulty posture or the distortion of the posture. Then principles. Okay, so there are 5 principles of Alexander's technique. Okay, so first is primary control. Primary control means it includes neck, head and spine, which are the basic unit of posture. So to understand posture and to correct it, okay, the 3 main things are neck, head and spine. So we will discuss slightly more about it. In neck, normally our neck is, we can say, in a very, we can say, less amount of tension, which is just sufficient to hold the neck. Okay, it is not much tensed. And in head, we can say that head is attached to the neck. And what are the movements possible at head? Forward, backward, then sideways, then upward and downward. In this, the forward and upward movement elongates the spine or the neck. Okay, neck is elongated in the forward and upward movement of head, while in backward and downward movement leads to the crumpling of neck. Okay, crumpling of neck. Also we can say that it is the cervical spine. Okay, so we have studied neck, that it have only we can say slight amount of tension to just hold the head, and head it is connected to the neck on its lower part, and these are the movement possible, and the movement of head alter the length of neck, okay, which is the cervical spine. And further the other parts of spine, it is also, we can simply say that it is also important in our posture, okay, so that our posture help to maintain our curvatures. Okay, you will be studying about primary and secondary curves in your biomechanics. Okay, so these curves must be maintained. Okay, so this is the primary control. Then use and misuse of muscle group. Okay, so after this there is a normal individual. Okay, I am a normal in my posture, I am we can say doing my work efficiently. But if I will be using a lot of mobile, then my head will be like this all the day. I will be scrolling, I will be searching for more and more things. This will put additional stress on my neck muscles, and further my posture will be altered. Why? Because there is the misuse or the abuse of muscle. So whenever the primary control get altered due to the use and misuse of muscle group, that is the coordinated action of agonist, antagonist and synergist is important. And whenever this coordinated action is not coordinated, okay, it is affected simply, then the misuse or abuse of the muscles occur, which lead to faulty posture, which is our next point, that is wrong and faulty sensory perception. What does it mean? Whenever I will be using more mobile phone, my posture will be like this, that is forward head posture. And now the sensation from my joints and skin will be going upward in the cortex, and this movement pattern will be registered in my cortex, and my posture will become faulty. Why? Because there is the faulty sensory perception. Okay, so third point we will saying that our posture get altered. Okay, so whenever the primary control is normal, it is good, and if primary control get altered, why? Due to use and misuse of muscle group, what happen then? Then wrong and faulty sensory perception is occurring, which leads to faulty posture. Okay, which leads to faulty posture. Then inhibition. Okay, now once our posture is we can say distorted, or there is any malalignment of our posture, then we will be doing inhibition. What does this means? Alexander stated that, Alexander suggested that as movement are automatic patterns, when we stop doing the wrong things, the right things will happen their own. Once I will be aware that now I am when I watched my sideways picture, I will be seeing that my head is too much forward. Then I will become conscious. I will try to keep my head in this position. So what is this? I am trying to prevent the wrong position by doing right position, and then the sensory perception from this position will be registered in the cortex, and my posture will be corrected, which is the inhibition. That is fifth principle. And fourth principle and the last principle is integration of body mind. This all shows that there is a integration of body and mind, that is whenever our body position change, the mind's perception of our position also change, and it is same as said by Jacobson. Okay, so it is a similarity between Alexander and Jacobson's technique. Okay, so next is technique. Starting position, it can be sitting, lying or standing, or even walking can be used, and it is used in two phases, which means that first of all, in the initial phase, the therapist will guide the individual toward its correct posture. That is, we will be correcting the posture. See what I have written. In this phase, the therapist correct the faulty posture by using his hands and guide the subject toward the normal posture. Initial phase, therapist will be making the person aware of the postural malalignment, so that the individual can also become aware of it and prevent it. And then in the second phase, that is in this phase, the subject himself correct the faulty posture by remembering the command and guidance of therapist. मतलब पहले हमने पेशेंट को समझा दिया, पकड़कर उसको कहा कि लीजिए आपको हेड यहाँ रखना है. Okay, then after some time, when the patient goes home, he will say that yes, therapist has asked me to keep head slightly backward, not like this. Okay, so that is the second phase. Okay, so this is the general technique of the Alexander technique. Okay, now we will study about some more elements which is a part of the technique of Alexander's relaxation technique. So the components or the elements of Alexander technique are the following. Okay, so these are the 6 components by which we can apply the Alexander technique. Okay, so it is very simple, and now you will be able to apply any kind of the relaxation therapy. Okay, so this is very simple. See, first is neck free from tension. Okay, so first of all, you will be focusing on the neck. The neck should be free from tension. The head must be positioned and carried out in such a way that there is no new strain. Okay, so this term is important, that there is no new strain which is put on the neck muscle, and the neck act as a link between the head and spine. Okay, so you know that this is our neck and this is head and spine. So in our neck, the neck should be relaxed. I have explained previously that it have a minimal tension in it which is just sufficient to hold our head. Okay, so neck should be free from any kind of tension. Okay, then head is forward and up. Okay, which means that head is forward and up so that our chin points toward our toes. So you can see that it means that head is held with the chin pointing to the toes, and head must be held slightly up. Head must be lifted up so that the subject feels taller. Okay, so you should not stand like this. Okay, so it will be like this. Okay, chin is toward the toes and head is slightly held up to make the person feel taller. Okay, so this is the second point. Okay, so first of all, you focused on the neck which should be free from tension, then on the head. Then third is back. Back must be lengthened. It implies that the subject should maintain the normal spinal curvatures. It is simple. You should not stand or sit like this. Okay, the position should be like this, so that all the curves of the spine are maintained. Okay, are shorten the curvature. Then keeping or maintaining the length. Okay, once the back is lengthened, we should maintain it. So why these 2 points are different? Because in this point we are saying that though there is the normal lengthening of spine, but we should maintain it during the different positions. The back length should be maintained during the transitional activity. I am standing like this, but when I sit down, I am like this. Okay, I am forwardly bent. Okay, so these are the things that we need to understand, that during the transitional activities which are changing from one position to another. Example, sitting down from standing. In standing you are good like this, but if you sit down you are like this. So okay, here the primary or the secondary curves get disturbed. Okay, which must be prevented. Okay, so example, from sitting down from standing, the spine tend to crumple. Okay, our spine tend to crumple, and this can be avoided by consciously maintaining the length. Okay, so we should make the person conscious. Okay, which is the second phase. The person should remember that the therapist has asked me to keep my back lengthened. So either if I am sitting, I should not be like this, I should be like this. Okay, so this is the fourth point, that keeping or maintaining the length. Then the fifth point is widening. That is the back widening, which is related to the back lengthening only. The posterior part of thorax should be allowed to be wide. Why? Because if I am like this, my back is not that widened for the deep inspiration. You can just take a deep inspiration. Yes, whenever we fill air inside our lungs, our back get widens. Okay, so whenever the posterior part of thorax should be allowed to be wide, so that complete extension of rib can be allowed. This would be necessary for deep breathing. Okay, so to do deep breathing, we should make our back wider and lengthen. Okay, so if we are like this, we will be doing breathing like this, which is, you can say, a slightly shallow breathing, but in normally condition we should do deep breathing. Okay, to make our lungs healthy. For it we need to widen our back. And our last, which is fourth point, which is sixth point, is shoulder relaxed and widened. Our aim is to relax the muscle of shoulder girdle, which are often held more tensely in case of mental or physical stress. It is again the previous things. What was our most common postural deviation in our shoulder, in our punching movement? Previous lecture only, it was hunched shoulders. Okay, whenever you are stressed, it can be any kind of stress, it's either mental or physical stress, you are like this, hunched shoulders, like this, sorry, like this, hunched shoulder, slightly elevated. This is also common, rounded shoulders, and this is hunched. Hunched means slightly elevated shoulders. Okay, round shoulder and the we can say elevated or the hunched shoulder is a common deformity that occur in our posture at the shoulder girdle level. Okay, so we need to relax the shoulder muscles. Okay, so these are the 6 component or the elements. First is neck, then head, then back, and in back there are 2 more points, that keeping or maintaining the length, then back should be widened, then the shoulder is relaxed and widened. Okay, so this was about the Alexander's technique of relaxation. Okay, so with this we finish off this technique, and I think there are just 1 or 2 more techniques related to relaxation. So within 1 or 2 lectures we will be completing our relaxation therapy topic. Okay, so till then you keep on studying. Thank you to one and all.